In this video, I'm going to be talking about shocks for towing, how better shocks can help you get better ride quality, not just for driving around, but also if you're loading weight into your truck or on a trailer. I'm going to be reviewing my AccuTune shocks that I have. Let's get into it. So I'm on year 2 of running the Fox 2.0s that are tuned by AccuTune. I have a Cloud Prep package spring, rides a little higher in the front, makes it look like the truck is leveled, but we got the Resis here. They are custom tuned. And they have been fantastic. I've put over 60,000 miles on these shocks from AccuTune, and you know, Fox manufactures them, AccuTune rebuilds them, and they add their custom shim stack based on your weight spec of each of your axles. I don't tow super heavy. I have this 24-foot deck over that I'll move stuff around on, and generally, I'm probably sitting between 5,000 and 10,000. Occasionally, I'll tow 12,000 or 13,000, but nothing crazy with this thing. And I just wanted to take a minute to talk about how shocks, better shocks, specifically nitrogen charged shocks, can help with your towing experience. And the main thing is, if you've watched any of my videos I've done where I do the vibrometer test, I'll link to them below, but the vibrometer test with these shocks against like an OEM version or even the regular Fox IFPs, the more fluid you have and the better the tuning, the less in-cab vibration you're going to experience. And by extension, the less vibration that the whole truck is going to experience. Now, what that does is it gives you better control of the vehicle, number one. Number two, it reduces the fatigue you're experiencing. And because of both of those things, you are then going to be that much safer when you're driving. And I don't think it's necessarily something you have to worry about a lot if maybe you're just driving your truck 10,000 miles a year or 5,000 miles a year, you use to tow an RV, you're like, hey, it rides fine, whatever. This is for people who are interested in getting that extra 5 to 10% of performance improvement out of the rig. Maybe they're towing something that's really heavy, much heavier than what I'm towing, you know, whatever. But I think shocks are super important. And the reason I say nitrogen charge specifically is because that nitrogen charge in the shock is actually pushing back against the road, against the damper, and it's making the shock performance active instead of reactive. So you have something that is actively working to dampen the vehicle, whereas the monotube shocks that you get on these trucks from the factory are basically just a valve that oil moves through. That was one thing we saw in that video that I filmed, was as soon as you go drive faster, add more weight, you start to push the vehicle more, the reservoir shocks or just any shock with a nitrogen charge really stands out because they perform very well under stress and a lot better than anything you're gonna get on this truck OEM from Ford. And with this truck specifically, when I'm towing a load, I notice the shocks whenever I'm hitting big G-outs on the highway or whoops or expansion joints or potholes. It just makes the experience of driving it much more predictable. A lot of people, when they first get their truck and they have the tires aired up all the way, they talk about how it feels like they're getting like thrown against their window or they're gonna get thrown out the glass, you know, because the truck will just move very violently when it hits expansion joints or certain things. A lot of that's from the sway bar. But if you are towing heavy, you don't necessarily want to remove the sway bar, and so having better shocks can really help with that. And a lot of it too, I had this misconception a while, is people think they need softer shocks, things that are mushier. And to actually control these, you want firmer, almost more compression damping. You want the shock to be pushing back against that force that's acting on the truck. And I didn't realize that until then. I put some shocks on that did have more compression damping than the IFPs out of the box, and I was like, wow, this is a huge difference. You just feel like you can push the vehicle, it's not gonna get offline, it's gonna stay where you put it, and you know, it just makes you feel a lot safer. And the vehicle is just gonna be that much more predictable. So again, this is, in my mind, like the 5 to 10% improvement you're gonna get out of your vehicle. I think, like, if I was to buy one of these again, the first thing I would do is replace the shocks. Just get something, right? Whether it's, you know, Fox, King, Carly, You need something with that nitrogen charge that's capable of handling the weight of your rig, and I promise you, you will not regret doing that swap. A lot of people think you have to do a leveling kit. I had someone comment a while ago being like, oh, reservoirs without doing coils in the front is just for show. And then we filmed a video with the same exact coils and leaves with the shocks, and it made a huge difference. So don't listen to people on the internet who don't have data to back up what they're saying. It's just a lot of spraying. That's what I've found anyway. Unless you're willing to test things and make videos, most recommendations are hot garbage. If you don't want to spend the money for resis from AccuTune, then maybe at least get an IFP. You know what I mean? Just get something. And if you're not concerned about it at all, then just run it. But if you like improving things and getting your truck to ride better, then try these. And you know, quick plug for AccuTune, I reached out to them to support my channel because I read so many good reviews about their customer service and the quality of the work that they do on these products. They also manufacture ride shocks. They don't have one for a Super Duty yet. I hope they make one because I definitely would want to try that. But I definitely want you to check them out if you're in the market for reservoirs, because you can buy the shocks from them and they do the custom tuning for free to the Fox reservoirs. Same price you would pay if you just bought normal Fox reservoirs. And then you get discounted rebuilds and service and incredible support from a great team. They're awesome guys. I really like them, so check them out for sure. But if you're not in the mood to do that or whatever, just get something, right? Get something that is not OEM, and I promise you won't regret. So just to recap, better towing experience with better shocks. You do not need to do a full leveling kit and replace your leaf springs or your coil springs. Don't listen to people who say you need to do that. Shocks are huge, tire pressure is huge. Those two things will really help the ride quality and control with these vehicles. And again, the benefits that I see with that when towing a trailer, bumper pull, I don't do any fifth wheel or gooseneck, but again, better ride quality and predictability of the vehicle, which results in less fatigue when you're driving long distances, which is just better safety. And you know, there's all kinds of crazies on the road. There's been more than a couple times where if I have to swerve to get out of the way of someone who's on their phone or someone doing something stupid, it's much better when I feel confident that I can control this vehicle, especially when it has an additional 10,000 pounds behind it. So anyway, again, you don't have to do anything. This is just what my experience has been with running OEM shocks, running Bilstein 4100s, then going to the IFPs, then going to the reservoirs. More money, more shock equal more better generally, especially with AccuTune and the value you get with a custom tuning. It would be cool, I think, at some point for me to test non-tuned reservoirs and see what that tuning difference is. It's expensive to do those tests. I would love to. If you can, subscribe and like this video and share it with your friends, because the more views I get, the more support I can get to do testing videos and all kinds of stuff. So any support helps. I appreciate you being here and checking out the channel. I hope this video was helpful. At least if you have questions, reach out to me or call AccuTune, email them. They have great customer service. Again, that's why I chose to partner with them. And be safe out there. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Cheers.